We'll call this meeting of the Committee of the Whole to order at 6:22. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Here.
Mayor Murphy? Here. Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Doherty?
Here.
Mr. Delph?
Here.
Mrs. Witt?
Here.
Mrs. Marcus? Miss Marcus?
Here. We have the Committee of the Whole meeting minutes from May 28th. If nobody has any corrections, comments, they'll be approved as they are. Hearing none, they are approved. Finance Director, do you have a report?
Nothing to report, thank you.
City Manager,
I currently don't have any items, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
Mayor,
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Law Director,
The only thing I have, Ms. Marcus, is a motion, we would just need a motion to enter into an executive session at the end of this meeting related, or to consider the appointment of a public official with no business to follow, and that's pursuant to ORC 121.22G1. So we just need a motion and a vote for that executive session.
do
I'll
we have a
make-
motion?
I'll make a motion that we have an executive session for personnel. We're at the end of the committee of the whole with no business to follow.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Delph?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Miss Marcus?
Yes. Did you have anything else?
No, thank you.
Well, Clerk of Council doesn't have anything. Anyone wishing to raise a question about any piece of legislation listed on this agenda will have 3 minutes at this time. All other topics to be addressed to council will be heard later in this meeting. Nobody wishes to speak. We'll go into business. The first item is the 2026 parking lot paving program bid results.
Hi, this project consists of resurfacing and repairing parking lots and access drives, as well as other improvements on city-owned properties. The base bid was for the buildings on Viking Lane near Firehouse 28, so the storage buildings behind it, the roads and stuff around it. The first alternative was for an access road paving for Ellerton Cemetery, and the second alternative was for a mill and fill of the primary parking lot at Marine Civic Center. The apparent low bidder, with the total price of $432,121.65, was Nera Paving, and they have done satisfactory work in Moraine and neighboring jurisdictions in the past, and they actually have been awarded a project for our city this year already. Including the 10% contingency, the total amount would be $475,338.82. This is slightly above the existing budget of $400,000. Instead of not performing one of the alternatives to get it under the $400,000, I recommend using savings from the other capital improvement projects to cover the shortage. Within the city facility improvements bucket itself, there is enough savings to cover everything except for $144, and we can pull that from one of the other accounts, like the $59,000 savings in the striping program or the $208,000 savings within the annual streets improvement. So we have more than enough funds to cover the larger project. So I recommend having the necessary legislation drafted to award the 2026 parking lot paving program to Nera Paving. The accepted bid amount of $432,121.65, and approving a total of $475,333.82. Are there any questions?
What was the amount lacking?
We'll need to transfer $144 into the city facility improvements.
I thought that was a mistake, 144. I thought you meant 100, that it should be. I've never seen one that small. I'll
Right.
make a motion that we have legislation drawn up per the, city zoning for the repaving, parking lot paving program.
Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Delph?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt? Mrs.
Yes.
Witt?
Sorry.
That's all right. Ms. Marcus?
Yes. Next item is the West Carrollton Schools SRO MOU 2026 to 2027 school year. I believe this is a resource officer.
Yes, this is an annual MOU that we have with West Carrollton City Schools for 2026, 2027 to continue our SRO, School Resource Officer in West Carrollton Intermediate School. So we're asking that legislation be prepared for approval on that. Thank you.
I had a question. Deputy Chief, is that still going to be Officer Burns doing that as well?
Yes, it is.
All right, perfect. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to have legislation drawn up for the next meeting for the West Carrollton Schools School Resource Officer MOU 2026-2027 school year.
Any other comments or questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty?
Yes.
Mr. Delph?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt?
Yes.
Ms. Marcus?
Yes. The next two items are related, but the next item is the purchase of 2026 case construction equipment with Grapple from Southeastern Equipment Company.
Sorry, I feel like I'm kind of hid behind the podium back there, so I'll stand up here. So as you guys know, the last several years, council has approved for our department to rent a case loader to use for the winter time and stuff to load our salt trucks. It's been a huge benefit to our department. It keeps our equipment out of the salt that is not really made to load salt, a backhoe. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The engine's in the front, so when you load salt, the salt gets around it. It ends up rotting out the frame, all around the engine components, the radiator and all that. So we've been renting one. The last few years, though, there's only one company around that allows us to rent them. The last few years, we've had some issues with that company that I feel really aren't fair to us. So we started looking into other things, and we were looking at purchasing a loader. And once we started looking at purchasing a loader versus equipment that would need to be replaced in our department, we found out that if we could secure a loader that would help us load our salt, it would also get longevity out of our backhoe that we had scheduled to replace next year. It would probably give us another 8 to 10 years of life out of that piece of equipment. When we rent the loader, we only have it for 4 months, and we're only allowed to use it for salt per the rental contract. So if we had an emergency come in where there was a tree blocking the road, we couldn't take that technically and use it to open the road up really quick because it wasn't part of the contract that we had signed with them. So after researching and doing some research on this, we reached out to the guy that I was going to talk to about a backhoe, had mentioned to me about a loader, and what really sparked my interest was he said he had 2 loaders left that were not impacted by the tariffs that are starting. This current loader can save us close to $15,000 because it's tariff-free. So my thought process going forward was if we had a loader that we owned that we could use 12 months out of the year, we could use it for more than just salt. We could use it to, move trees in the roadway. We can use it for, I know you guys are familiar with like the big concrete Jersey walls that we have to use sometimes and move. We don't currently own a piece of equipment that will move those. So we typically wait until we have that rented, or we have to rent a piece of equipment to lift those because equipment we have will not lift them. They're just too heavy. So there's multiple benefits to us owning one. So I'm, asking that legislation be prepared or, even be, if you guys have any questions about it, for us to maybe purchase one of these. I don't know if you want to get into the options that we've been presented, or if you would like the finance director to talk about the options as far as, the purchasing of one. You could handle that probably better than I can, but I would just want to, if you have any questions on how it's going to benefit us versus in the life of our backhoe by purchasing this, not needing to replace it next year.
Chris, could you remind council of the CIP, how much was budgeted in 27 that we would no longer need to ask for in regards to the backhoe?
I believe it was either 250 or 275.
250.
250,000 to replace the backhoe.
So that would not be a request in 2027.
We would not need to replace that because I feel like, and like I said, some of the issues that we had the past couple of years, forced us, even though we rented this piece of equipment, forced us to use our backhoe in the salt, because obviously if we come in to move salt, we have to have a way to load it. So that was kind of a thing. So we've had to use the backhoe the last couple of years. But if we can keep the backhoe out of the salt, the backhoe's 10 or 11 years old right now. I feel like we could get another 10 years of life out of that backhoe, not putting it in the salt. And the things that the loader would be able to do that we would typically do with the backhoe, I just feel like we could get a lot more life out of that. So, but yes, this would, I would not be asking to replace the backhoe next year.
But you just said that you knew that this was a problem. Why wasn't it in this budget then?
No, the issues arose this year after we
But you're saying you've been renting one for how many years? and-
several years.
Right, and you knew you didn't really want to do that. So why wasn't it in this budget, so we don't have to do a supplement, whatever? It's
I
just
don't-
costing us more money. Our budget was already way over.
Well, I don't know what you mean by the
Chris,
problem.
you had indicated you started having problems with repairs this year.
That was with the loader itself that we rented.
Right.
So those came up this year. So just to explain what happened is, they dropped the loader off to us on a Friday, right?
Yeah,
We came in on Monday morning and it had a flat tire. So I'm like, I call the company, they come out, they put a new tire on it. We go through the whole winter season, and at the end of the season, we get a bill for $2,500 for a tire. And I fought back and forth with this. I tried to push. I went all the way up the chain with this company to actually the owner, and I said, I don't feel like this is right. You delivered it to us. Well, our guys took a picture of it when it came off of there, and that tire was full. Okay. So I went back and forth, and basically I just said, we'll pay the bill, but we will never rent another piece of equipment off of you. We rent multiple things off of them. We'll never rent off of you again. We've rented off of you for several years, and, you know, if us renting off of you is worth $2,500, then we'll just cut business with you. And that's kind of where it went. Then when I started to reach out to other rental companies, there's no other rental company in the Dayton area that will rent you a loader to put in the salt.
Chris, what was the average price to rent this here?
About $20,000 for 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah, for
So
4
Chris,
months.
you would indicate the life expectancy of the case loader, will get it covered and still have several years left, right? The lease, or the rental payments that we're paying, you did a
Yes.
little bit of math on
So-
that, and we come out ahead after how many years?
I would say that the price of that, or that loader, the way that we maintenance our equipment and the way we would use it, if we didn't get 20 years out of that loader, our last backhoe before this one was a 96, and we replaced it in 2016. It was 20 years old.
And one of the reasons you're bringing it to council now for a supplemental instead of budgeting for is, one, you didn't experience the troubles that you had, and number two, we've got the ability to avoid the tariffs.
We have
which
the
would be
ability to avoid the
additional
tariffs.
costs.
We won't have to spend the $20,000 to rent one this year. And I believe, the finance manager will tell you, that the first payment is deferred until next year. We don't even have to
Right.
make a payment from a year until this date.
so we're buying this or we're going to rent it?
It would be a
Buying it
purchase.
through a lease.
Would be a lease purchase.
But we wouldn't have to make the first payment for a year. So we wouldn't need I guess we wouldn't need to budget any money this year at all for it.
Well, it's 54, isn't it 54,000 a year?
But the
For
lease.
For the lease, it would be
wouldn't
54,000 a
start.
year, first payments in 2027.
Right. So we would be, during budget cycle for 27, add that money.
But I wouldn't
So
be
the
requesting the
250
$20,000 that we
Correct, so it's
typically
really
do to rent.
27.
Yeah.
So the
Because-
250 that's in the 2027 CIP, that 250,000 would come out, and we would put in the 54,600 for the lease payment.
I agree with you. If a company doesn't honor a contract, and to me, even if the tire was brand new when they brought it out, the fact that you weren't able to use it at all, to me, the company should have ate that. So I agree with you. I would never deal with a company like that another time. I make a motion that we have legislation prepared to purchase the 2026 Case construction equipment with grapple from Southeastern Equipment Company.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen?
Here, yes.
Mayor Murphy?
Yes,
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Doherty?
Yes.
Mr. Delph?
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
this next item is related. It's a lease financing, I believe it's $6,500.
Yes. I requested quotes from various finance companies, and I received 4 quotes for a 5-year equipment lease to finance the purchase of this equipment. And the 2 lowest were Huntington Bank and US Bank. Huntington offers flexibility to pay the lease off early at any time and at a much lower prepayment penalty rate of 1%. US Bank has a 13-month waiting period if we wanted to pay it off early for whatever reason. And they have a 3% prepayment rate, so 3 times the amount, which would cost anywhere from $1,000 to almost $3,000 more if we were to pay it off, and depending on when we paid it off early. I feel that we've got more flexibility to pay it off early, and our hands aren't tied as much with the Huntington proposal. So although they are 0.06% higher, I think having that flexibility to pay it off and at a lower cost has a lot of value as well. So we're recommending that we enter into a lease finance agreement with Huntington. And the annual lease payment would be $54,600.14 for 5 years, beginning in 2027. So no payment in 26. The only cost in 26 would be $6,500 for bond counsel, because this is debt financing. So we are required to have the legal opinions as needed just like for other debt. So to enter in that engagement, it's $6,500. We would need supplemental appropriations for that to make that happen. So I'm requesting for the June 25th council meeting that we introduce an ordinance to authorize the 5-year equipment lease financing with Huntington Bank, and also a supplemental appropriation ordinance for $6,500 for the associated legal costs.
Okay, so that's 2 different pieces of legislation. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to have legislation drawn up for the lease financing with Huntington for the 2026 case construction equipment. Next meeting.
Any other questions and comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen,
Here, yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Mr. Delph,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes.
And
we
then
need
want to do a second motion for the supplemental ordinance.
Yes. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to have the supplemental drawn up for the next council meeting for the lease financing agreement with Huntington for the 2026 case construction equipment.
Any other questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Allen,
Yes.
Mayor Murphy,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Daugherty,
Yes.
Mr. Delph,
Yes.
Mrs. Witt,
Yes.
Ms. Marcus.
Yes. That concludes the business section. Don't have anybody wanting to appear before council. So going to staff and council reports, and I'm going to start with building maintenance this time.
Aha, beat you, Brent. Okay, so good news coming up. Found out this morning, restroom trailer is going to be here on time. We just got notification this morning that they are finishing it up this week. Me and Chris and Brent will go and pick it up. It'll be ready for delivery next week. So we're going to get the rundown on the training part of it, on how to set up and tear down. So good news. We'll have it for the 4th. That's all I have.
Yeah, it is good news. I was wondering about that trailer. Last time when we were talking about something about restrooms, I was wondering what the status was, so thank you. Okay, if you have nothing else, I'm going to move over to the police department.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
Nothing to report, thank you.
Street department.
Nothing other than thank you for the legislation this evening.
Building and zoning.
Nothing to report, thank you.
City engineer,
Nothing to report, thank you.
community development.
No report, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
And once again, I've left Parks and Rec to last because he almost always has something.
Well, Rocky thinks he beat me, but you saved the best for last, so I appreciate that. But I have nothing to report, thank you.
That's almost unheard of. Okay, city manager, do you have anything?
I have no items. Thank you, Ms. Marcus.
Mayor, do you have anything?
Nothing else at this time, thank you.
Law director?
No, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
Finance director?
No, I don't, thank you.
Mrs. Allen?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Mrs. Witt?
Nothing to report, thank you.
Mr. Miller?
Just one item. If you recall, last year, City Council budgeted to replace our marine historical markers. A dozen of them are getting very aged, and so we had a committee with the city planner, Nick Clarice, and Kim Wallace, Aaron Vitor, and I. So anyway, we designed a new historical marker that has a QR code, so people can click on it and get a lot more information about each site than we can put on just a small sign. So anyway, all those markers have been bought over at Street Department, and Street Department is gracious enough to install those as whenever we can get around to it. And they've already started. So if you look around the city, you've seen probably about a half dozen already installed. So over the next 2 or 3 months, you'll see the old signs removed, the new ones installed. 3 of the 19 will be new for this year. So just as to get it on the calendar, one of them is for Phil Donahue over Channel 2, since he was the first broadcaster to have a call-in talk show. So they want to have an unveiling ceremony. Right now, they've given us the date of Monday, September 14th as a tentative date. So Mayor, put that on your calendar because they'd like you to speak that day. It's all up to Margot Thomas, his wife. Wants to be here, and so they're trying to get that scheduled around her. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Daughtery?
Nothing to report, thank you, Ms. Marcus.
No report, Ms. Marcus, thank you.
And I have nothing, so at this time, we will recess into executive session as requested by the law director with no business to follow.